It's funny to see all that.
We're live.
We are live here from Decatur, Alabama. The Dream Show. Oh, you can see me like covering up my face. So I guess it's not the same thing.
It doesn't really do the same thing. We're on location.
The thing does go over my shoulder. Yeah, we're over here. 10th Planet Decatur. I guess I'm gonna cross my legs. Show my little socks off.
There. Got the sock
sitting on the couch. A little bit different setup than what we're used to, but it's cool. Thankful for them letting us come use their stuff. We're here for PJ Barch's seminar tonight. The Butter Panther, as he's known. Also a black belt under Boogie. We trained in San Diego together some when I was out there. So I'm really hyped to come up here and train with him, pick up some stuff that he's working on. I'm sure it's going to be really like fire details, whatever PJ's working on is typically pretty high level. I know he's got a lot of good guard passing and wrestling. He's really all around, a solid guy, one of the top guys in the world, honestly. So anytime you can get close to people like that and get some information, I think it's worth the trip if you can do it. Wednesday night's the night that I've set to have off from the gym typically, so it's easy to step away from the home base on Wednesdays a little bit at nighttime to get a little cross training or something like that too, So, yeah, actually, this is why we did that. When I tried to start doing the Wednesdays last year anyway, it was so I could come up here for some of the team trainings on Wednesday nights. Anyway, so that was why I said it was. So it's kind of cool that we are actually getting to get up here for a Wednesday night training to get some work in. Otherwise, dude, Mid-South Classic news. We had to scrap the ladies 135 division. We just weren't getting the real interest in it. There are people that were saying they would or might and then couldn't, and like it just wasn't coming together. So we just pivoted, and when you make mistakes or not even mistakes, or when just things aren't moving the right way, you just don't keep throwing good money at bad money, so to say. And so we just pivoted and decided to go with 155 blue belt dudes, which is there's 60 million of those in the world. We could probably run a 1,000-man bracket for 155-pound blue belts, So we did that, and we've already got 4 or 5 dudes, I think, that have already registered in for that. We got some dudes that are traveling in from out of town. Some guys are coming from finishers up in Pennsylvania to come down for the blue belt bracket. So that's really cool already. It's already like spreading a little bit further out the reach, I guess, to get some people, because it's maybe for a black or a brown belt, $1,000 isn't enough to come down to Perry from far away. But a
blue belt,
man, sheesh, come on, dude, come on in here and get some grapples in with us and get this money. It's just for fun. Like, we're just doing it for fun. The money's for you, so come and get it. Come and take it from whoever else. And man, it's cool. Like, you see these blue belts eventually will start turning into the purple, brown, and black belts that are getting towards the top of the food chain in their respective areas, but also the nation and the world. Hopefully, that's some of the stuff I can see happening through the Mid-South and other stuff that's coming up in our area now. There's tons of great grappling coming up in the South. Yeah. What else? Well, that's the news, I guess.
That's the big news, was the shift in the Mid-South. I mean, are you doing anything different? I was just going to ask you. I was letting you finish your thought, but like, are you going to do anything different on the rule set for the blue belts, or are you same rule set, just skill set?
Just run it, yeah. Just let it be same thing, and then we'll see how it goes. And if anything jumps out and says don't do that again, then we won't do it again. I'll pull out and change tactics again like we always have. We are going to really let people work off of the wall, though. I'll say that we're going to make it more
dynamic.
Just like in the game. It's going to be part of the game to be able to grapple off the wall, sort of like an MMA fight in a way, but not stall and like press against the wall and hold. But if it hits the wall and you're working for a takedown and you take somebody down or something, we're gonna kind of let that ride for a second. So that's going to be a little bit interesting to see how it could play out. Maybe that could change something. That's one of the things that we'll see. We'll see what could happen, because, like I said, I'm not going to let people just sit there and stall against the wall. We'll call for them to break up and get back out to the center of the mat and start grappling and stuff. But as far as rolling up into the wall or getting taken down against the wall and stuff like that, might as well. You might as well just go ahead and just let it be a part of the game. Because you see on Submission Underground, they grapple in a cage, and a lot of the top guys in the world are already grappling against the wall anyway in some circumstances. And the wall is like another dimension. So if you say like 3D, the wall is 4D. It gives another layer to the martial arts that if you don't know it, you're about to get eat up by people who know what they're doing against the wall as far as takedowns and control and stuff like that.
Is it? Do you think it's control that's the biggest difference?
It's a huge amount of control you can get by pushing their back to the wall and like stuffing somebody. That's what I'm saying. So that's one thing, but I don't really want to see a bunch of that. But I don't want to have to see everybody keep having to reset and all those different things like going off the mats and stuff like that too. So maybe pushing up into the wall and then like everything, initiating more action, trying to keep it from going to a stall fest in some ways is going to be, I think, better. How can we incentivize the action though? That's going to be the thing. Um, Probably, I don't know. That's what we got to figure out with the whole thing. Is like the people we're getting through ours pretty fast with submissions anyway. We're not getting through too many overtimes yet. We've had maybe one or two each show of the three that we've done. So it's not been boring yet. There's not been really a stinker that came out that I can really recall where I was just like, man, get this out of here. So so I can move
There
on to the
hasn't been a real like stall-ish match
yeah.
yet.
That's what I'm saying. So it's been okay in that way. And so I definitely don't want to add the wall fighting in and then all of a sudden get some wrestler MMA dude that's just gonna stuff to the wall and try to press and hold and wait for overtime like that. So we're gonna have to figure out some stalling stuff and maybe even add in the get down rule from combat jujitsu into this situation some to where if they
Ooh.
spend more than a minute on the feet, we'll go ahead and we'll start making them get down anyway. Um, I just made it up. That's what we're gonna do. We're
We're
gonna
just
add
gonna do that on
yeah,
the fly.
we're gonna
Yeah,
do that.
yeah,
We're gonna
yeah.
add the get down rule to our Mid South Classic. 1 minute on the feet at the most. You can use the wall up to a minute, but at a minute we're gonna flip the coin and we're gonna make someone get on top or bottom with the double underhooks and butterfly. So yeah, what's up? We're gonna do it. Let's just do it. Let's see what happens and have some fun with it. But I want to see what happens against the wall because as a former MMA dude, I use a ton of wall tactics when it's available, and then having that taken away, it's different, and it's not better or worse or right or wrong. But for me, that was the only way I used to get my takedowns. Back in when I was fighting, I didn't really have much open mat stuff to worry about, and that was how I would counter a lot of these higher level caliber wrestlers, however you want to look at it, is because they wouldn't necessarily have the wall tactics. They could drive me
Right.
to the wall, but they couldn't counter once we got there as well. So it kind of balanced the ship a little bit. But then now, like in an open mat scenario, it's a lot harder to take down a guy that's a really good wrestler that you can't get to a stopping point if he doesn't want to stop you. Uh, Sort of much like Randy, I guess, here at the PGF when I was trying to get up and over the hump on him a little bit, and he just kept kind of moving away, moving away. At a certain point in a cage or a wall, I could direct him towards that wall, and then maybe get better connection and grip on him or whatever, clinch on him of some sort in that way. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm just interested to see. It's gonna be fun. The 185 division is gonna be sick, dude. There's
Yeah.
some there's some guys that are coming down for that one that are gonna be really cool. We got like two more spots in it, so I'm not gonna say who anybody is just in case, so we can fill those other two spots up. Uh, but there's 4 or 5 people already that are in there that could win it. Like
That's a good bracket.
any of the 5 of them could legit win it, and two two of them have beaten me in matches before. So it's interesting to they're gonna lock up. 2 of these guys have been in the Mid South Classic before. 3 of them have been in the Mid South Classic before,
Returning.
returning from different weight classes. They've competed against each other before. So there'll be some rematches that may happen that people will probably be wanting to get some some redemption on. So that's gonna be cool, man. It's gonna be really cool to see
There's
those.
gonna be more mat space too, because I don't know if you said that when you said we're
Oh,
adding the wall, but we're leaving more mats down too.
yeah, there's that one section that's opposite of where we sit with the broadcast stuff, and we had typically been pulling it out just to give a defined kind of
Square.
space
Yeah.
there. Yeah, and for the aesthetic, I guess that was kind of what we were thinking, or what I was thinking. But then now, with the way it's went a couple of times, I'm gonna leave those mats on, and we're gonna let you just roll all the way over there to that wall. That's an extra probably 15 or 20 feet in width and stuff that we can add to the thing. So the
Mhm.
lighting may cause a couple, we're gonna change a couple things with the lights or something like that
Yeah, I'm gonna
to
play
make
around
it.
with that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's what I said. So the things that we'll have to do to accommodate that are minor, but I think allowing that mat space would be very beneficial to everyone that's involved. Just because rolling off the carpet and there's fans there or whatever, coaches and stuff, and sometimes people don't move fast enough, and then one guy wants to stop, and of course the other guy that's got the attack doesn't want to stop right now. So who's right and wrong? Nobody, because you're playing the game the way that it's kind of came out. So yeah, so two 8-man brackets now. Blue belt men 145, 185 pound men open rank. $1,000 each to the bracket winners. They're putting in $100. They got a chance to win $1,000 each. Um, that's the best I can kind of do for them right now. Hopefully, as this thing continues to push on and grow, we're gonna add to it. I would like to see like a $5,000 pot to the winner come out of this in the near future. I don't know how long that'll take us to get to grow that. We may have to extend to maybe 16 to start getting towards
To get
that,
that
to make
thicker
that,
bracket.
yeah, just to make
Yeah.
that more realistic in a way. That way we can have a few more buy-ins to help feed that pot a little bit, but then we could probably match some of that and get it closer to like a bigger pot. That's what I would like to see, and that's when we're gonna maybe look to make that next step. We're still working out some parts of our process and stuff like that right now, but like there's no tournaments over here on this side of the country that are paying out like that.
Oh,
Nobody,
definitely not. No,
nobody's
not
doing
even
that.
close.
Like, yeah, that's so that's part of what I want to work on. I want to try to get, as we grow, I would like to make ours one of the bigger tournaments in the country as far as payout for our people. Um, because the athletes deserve it, you know what I mean? And if we can find the right people that we can work with to help us accomplish that, then dude, yes, I would love to be able to do that. Find a $5,000 pot for the people in our brackets, and even extend it to 16 if we had to make that work out. Um, that would be so cool, dude. That would be really, really fun to be able to do that. Like to be able to help facilitate that for someone for jujitsu, for just doing jujitsu. You don't have to sell a bunch of tickets. You don't have to do anything crazy except for do what you already were going to do. Kinda put up your $100 that you would put up to go to any other kind of tournament, and then the opportunity to win it back plus whatever 50 times. It's that's amazing. So right now we can only give you 10x. Hopefully I'll be able to give you 50x in the next year or two as we keep working on this thing, because we're working on it hard. If everybody doesn't know, myself and Isaac, we're doing a lot behind the scenes trying to get this thing set up and trying to make sure we have everything together for everyone, because we want it to be successful in the right ways. We're not looking just to like get a cash grab and run away. We're trying to get something that's going to be sustainable, that can help like grow the culture. It's for the culture. That's
Yeah.
what it's for. And so that's what we're doing. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited about the future. It looks like we've got some good prospects on some stuff. So once we get a couple more under our belt and we know exactly what we're doing, I think everybody's gonna have a lot to see, really and truly. Um, so yeah, so for the Mid South, just tune in. It'll be on my YouTube July 31st. If you'd like to be involved in any kind of way, maybe we could pick up a couple like super matches or something like that to fill a gap or two in the time, so we don't rush up the competitors in the bracket so much. So if you see this or whatever and you're interested, just hit me up, send me your weight, rank and stuff like that. And if somebody else your weight and rank sends in anything, I'll see if I can kind of match you guys up if you want to ride down and just throw down or whatever, just for funsies to be a part of the show. That would be cool. Um,
And that's a couple people who asked me about the viewers or like spectators. We're not really paying that much attention to spectators yet, but
not
like,
not
yeah,
live.
Yeah.
not in house. We don't have enough space at the gym right now.
Watch the stream.
Yeah, to watch the stream. That'll help us the most right now, honestly. Maybe once that would be an idea towards that bigger pot. Maybe selling a show that would work out with
Doing like a live show.
yeah, where the crowd can help fund the pot, but then also you got to fund a building at the same time. So there's a lot of it's a lot more than just throwing down mats, collecting entry fees, and then running it to make this thing go off as well as it has. We put a lot of time and effort into it, and so we're still going to continue to do that and try to master this craft of putting on these shows like this and really try to be one of the top tournaments in the country, hopefully, but definitely in the southeast for sure.
I
So
mean, you've already got. I mean, you're talking about the talent that you have coming in. I mean, even without dropping names that are on this one, the past three have had some of the top, like southeastern, at least the top
the certain brackets for sure. There's
people
been
that
a
are
few,
talking.
yeah. There's been a few guys in each one, like Sam Barbosa, Ryan Aiken, Chase Hanna's been on there. Anna Kanaj, that won our ladies bracket, is a really tough up and coming lady. Uh, Gosh, why can't I remember Jonathan's last name? Elbow Bay was on there. He won our 171 the first time. He's pretty good. He was on the PGF.
Jonathan Roberts.
Roberts. Dang, I couldn't remember his last name. Yeah, my guy came in and just stunned on everybody, all quiet and low key, and left. But he's going to be somebody that people need to know about too, if he wants them to. Like if he wants to keep competing, that guy's really really solid. So, so we've had people come through that have already been in here that either are or will be very well known in the near future. And so that's kind of the thing, is like we're helping provide the platform now for some of those people to get their experience, to get their exposure. It's another step, in a lot of ways to get to that goal of whatever, if they want to be the ADCC champion, or if they're wanting to be a Combat Worlds champion, or if they want to be an MMA champion of some sort, you know, come grapple. Like jujitsu is a real big part of all those things, and then you can make a little money if you're really into it, and you're good enough to win it.
See, that's
So
if somebody told you like, I mean, even like 7, 8 years ago that like you were going to be able to make, you could win $1,000 for a tournament, you wouldn't believe them
dude, it's so far few and far between that I can't really remember that being an option at all.
ever. Yeah.
Like a $500 payday would have been crazy to at least for sure at my level back then.
So what do you think's changed to the point that like we're there's still MMA fighters out there taking fights for $1,000.
I mean, it's so there's jiu-jitsu guys that'll take matches for nothing too. There's jiu-jitsu guys
Yeah.
that'll pay you $150 to come and roll a match also. So I think it's just a matter of people wanting to do it is the biggest thing. That's why it's working. That's why it's happened. The difference in why people are getting paid in jiu-jitsu now is because there's people that care about it, that are a part of it. There's people that really want to see it be successful doing it. You know what I mean? There's not really the sleazy promoter type that's jumped in yet as much, because there's not much return for us yet.
On the
We're
jiu-jitsu
not
world.
You're
Yeah.
not making
Yeah.
much. If you put on the show, you're not making much. Typically, you're not the one that's making the money unless you're one of those sleazy scumbag kind of promoters that's taking all the money and stuff like that. So that's why you see there's more money coming in from these type of promotions. Uh, Guys like us, obviously, like finishers, those guys up there, they've been doing this for years, put in there. Guys like Brian Brown down in Jacksonville, he did his. I went and competed from San Diego as a brown belt. I flew over and competed in his just to earn some more rep to try to get, to level myself up. So like these kind of tournaments are really, really, really important for the culture. Like seriously for the culture. If this is what we believe in and this is what we say and what we do, then for us now and for me as one of these older guys in the room now that people are supposedly looking up to and respecting,
You're
then
the sage now, man.
right, like
You're
what
the
so I'm going to do the things that I said that I wish everybody else would do. I'm going to go out here and I'm going to try to put in the work to provide for everybody else, to try to give to everybody else the things that I think were overlooked or not given to me or to other people that I thought should have, could have, or would have taken an opportunity that was presented but weren't able to because it didn't exist, maybe, or they were too far away from it over here, or didn't even know, that there was a possibility that could even happen. Man, I was fighting MMA fights for $500.
yeah.
like 300 and 300 to show up, 300 bucks to win, three or four of those at least, back in the day. So yeah, dude, just coming out here and do some grapples to get some money down. Uh, I paid $100. I don't know how many times to go lose a jujitsu tournament somewhere for practice. So yeah, I'm the kind of crazy guy that if you told me something like this was going down, especially when I was like some blue belt, purple belt guy, I'm the guy that's showing up with the $100 to try to get my hands on someone like a Sam Barbosa or a Chase Hanna or a Ryan Aiken or someone like that.
Just to feel it.
I want to see what they feel like because that's who I want to be. That's who I want to be. So I'm trying to find out how to get my hands on these guys if they're not accessible to me to train with, if they're not someone that's easy for me to get around and to learn from in the room. Then I need to go out there and get that competition experience against them to go ahead and start touching them a little bit and seeing what that level feels like. And if it burns, then and you got to go back and regroup and put in the work a different way to try to catch up to those guys. So yeah, I think it's changing now because people are into it that care about it. They're trying to make their own money in their own respective ways, but I think that the promoters for the most part now care. There's still some I'm sure that are not giving them, a fair stake to everyone, but the more that you get into everything, the more that you'll see that that it takes a lot of money to get these things going. So if you produce a big show and you have a venue with a stage and with lights, with commentators that are worth their salt, and you got athletes that are worth their wares, it costs money to put all of that together. You got to rent the stage and the chairs, and you got to have people. You got to. Oh, just so much goes into it that there's not a lot of money left sometimes. So when you see some of these paydays come out, it's like, man, that's not a lot, but still, if you can give them $1,000, then that's more than they were gonna make in a month. You know, Probably depending on where you live. Some people don't make that much in a month with their jobs and stuff, hardly. So I don't know. That's just a different.
It's definitely somebody's rent, you know.
It definitely is a portion of somebody's rent for sure. Over here, it's a lot more of it than it is in Southern California and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, so being able to do it makes me want to do it more. The more that I can do stuff like this and pull it off, the more excited I get about being able to do it again, like and trying to make it bigger and better and stuff. So I don't know. Until we mess it up, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna keep just trying to expand it and grow it. Um, yeah, outside of Mid South, dude. Okay, here comes a rant. All right, I'm gonna rant for a second. You ready?
Rant. Go for it. That's what we're here for.
All right. So in time, as a martial artist and as a jiu-jitsu athlete or whoever you are, whatever anything that you do, if you have someone that is a mentor or a coach for you, a teacher for you in some way, it's their job to give you corrections. It's their job to try to teach you what you don't know. And sometimes what you do know is not what they're trying to tell you. They're trying to tell you what you don't know. And sometimes we all, and I'm talking to me a lot from past experience too in here. But now being the head of the ship, I see this. I see it pop up now a lot more now that it's me at the front of the room now. Uh, you don't know anything yet, and especially you don't hardly know what I'm trying to tell you, if unless I've already told you that this is what I'm going to say today. Like if you haven't been in there and you haven't already went through the specific scenario or whatever, then you don't know what I'm gonna tell because I may change the main function of the thing that we're doing, even though it sets up exactly like something else. I mean, I may have told you this really other thing that's really high level that I like a lot, that I use a lot, or that whatever, but now I'm gonna tell you, don't do that. Do something else, and I know the other thing works, but I want you to understand the other thing too, so you don't have to use every tool that I give you every time. but you do need to examine it and understand what that tool might be useful for. That way, I mean, for example, if you have two hammers, you may not need to use your big sledgehammer to do some little delicate job. You might need to use your little rubber mallet on that one. So like there's different things. They're the same tool, but there's a completely different function to that tool if you want to use it in a different kind of way. So it's really, really hard to express to some people what I'm trying to say. I feel like sometimes because people don't always want to be corrected. They want you to tell them that they're right. They want to be agreed with because they probably are right to a degree. That's the thing. It's hard to say you're right, but and then give a correction because if they're right, then why do they need to do anything else? Why do they need to know anything more if they already know the thing? And it's like because you haven't examined it fully yet, right? Maybe you haven't thought because you haven't thought through this one thing I'm about to say because I haven't even thought this thing through yet. So I know that you haven't thought it through yet because we haven't ever talked about it. Stuff like that. It's kind of hard. And you've been in the room where I even get ahead of myself teaching sometimes. There's a group of too many new people that don't quite get to the point that I'm trying to get to. But that was the only point I had for the whole night, basically. Was I wanted that higher like understanding point to come across, but it doesn't. And so then I get a little frustrated. But it's not as frustrated as the fact with the student as much as it's myself not being able to get the student to understand the thing. So there's a difference between them not being able to understand the thing yet and then staying where you're at because you think you already know the thing. You've already seen the thing before. It's that
Yeah,
it's
I've
the, it's
already been here, seen that,
that
done that
the blue
type
the blue
of.
belt mentality or
Yeah,
whatever. You know
yeah,
what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, coach has showed me that move before, like 100 times.
but this way.
Yeah, but did you know that coach picked up some new details this week? That's what he was trying to share with you. Did you know that I went somewhere and learned something new? That's what I was talking about.
Yeah,
I know the way that I told you to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember the way that I told you to do it before. That's the thing. I know that, and I know that way works a lot. That's cool. But what I'm saying is, look at this new thing I found, or someone else said. Let's play with it. Let's tinker with it a little bit and try to like see what's up. Kind of like when we went to the that Gustavo Machado seminar in the GI a few months ago, and he taught
hmm,
omoplatas. I know a lot about omoplatas, but he was doing his finish a little bit different. So when he came back, I just started playing with that finish for a week or two in the class and teaching it to everybody a little bit. It's just another way to get the finish. And then now that I've seen that from him, I've actually seen what he was saying done a lot when people are using their rubber guard. But it's a different context because obviously you can go to an omoplata from there a lot.
hmm,
But that's what his whole focus was. His whole focus was the omoplata. When we're in the rubber guard, the omoplata can be your whole focus,
it's just a
or
contribution. Yeah,
it can be an afterthought to where they're just this is what happens when I make mistakes is the omoplata. So you know what I mean? You could stack these ideas or scaffold those ideas up to that higher sense of understanding a bunch of different ways. So that's the thing. Even when we went back to Jacksonville at the camp last weekend when Richie was teaching his stuff, they were calling it jokingly like Boogie's greatest hits because it was like all his best
it's
moves
good
and stuff.
stuff.
Like
Yeah.
yeah, and dude, if it looked like a roll that we had a million times, basically, where we're just running that infinite loop until he could catch me or until I could get out or whatever would happen, kind of. But that weekend, a couple weeks ago, he taught more details. Either one that he didn't teach before, or two, I wasn't ready to receive before and didn't hear him say whatever the new detail that at least
That's the ticket, I
the
think.
new detail to me. So I can't blame him. As then I walked up to him and told him, I was like, man, I don't want to say that like you didn't know all this stuff before. So I'm gonna say either like I didn't hear you say it or man, did you get better at this stuff between now and then? Because it's been, we've been together for 6 or 7 years overall, probably I think total. And so I've seen Carney a bunch.
It's nothing. Yeah,
It's
shouldn't be
it's
anything
it's
new.
nothing new, right? But there was something new there this time, and it was a new and I was like, oh, that's what he's talking about. Because I was at a different vantage point, or my understanding of rubber guard as a whole for me has grown. And so now that detail made more sense than it ever did before. And it wasn't an important detail to me before because I didn't, that's not what I was thinking about. That's not what I was thinking about.
Right.
So I don't know. That's the really cool and trippy part about jujitsu, though, is that once you understand that thing, that's the thing, is that like you don't know anything really. Like nobody knows anything really. Everybody just knows what they think.
Their little
They know their own
at their
idea.
little yeah.
They know their own way. They know their own tactics, and then they'll regurgitate things that somebody else told them if they're not sure. And that's what most people do. Or the best people will tell you, "I'm not sure," and will try to figure it out with you and troubleshoot it, or
Or point you in a direction.
go to the
Go
encyclopedia.
Google this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Send you to the YouTubes. Unfortunately, that's a great resource for stuff like that sometimes.
But see, I think it can be used in the way that, like, if you know what to look up. So, like, that's what getting good at this is just learning and having enough data points and enough, like, understanding to be like, okay, I'm going to go look up this.
Yeah, specifically this, not just jujitsu techniques.
Right.
Click. And then just this vomit of information about this infinite art form. You'll
Because
never,
those people can be wrong too.
everybody's wrong.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Ooh.
Nobody's right. Not always, unless they tell you that I'm not always right. Then that's always right. It's weird. I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
That's
some of that-
okay. Okay.
some of
That's
that
made my
woo-woo
brain
stuffs.
hurt.
That's some of that woo-woo stuffs, but like that's what it is. It is that. It's infinite. It's never ending. But it's not new though. None of it's new. It's all been done. Somebody's already done most of it. They may not have done it recently the way you see it, but someone in history's probably done what you've seen, and it may not be recorded to where we can understand it and break it down, but it's been done.
What has happened? You're not
The history
being
of human combat is too far and wide for something to not have been discovered about manipulating the human body at this point. Just I don't know. My little nerd brain just won't accept that there's new things coming out. I think that it's just trends. There's trends.
It just goes back and forth. I
The
mean,
rule-
that's
the rules
kind
dictate-
of wide.
The
Yeah.
rules dictate the fight. Before there were guns, everybody was fighting with swords and shit. So then the battlefield changed when that happened, drastically. And then before they had iron and steel, there's a different
hitting each other with
it's
rocks.
you know what I'm saying? It's different. So the evolution's always been through combat to some degree. But now we've kind of nerfed it so we can play it a lot and have fun with it and make it a game, that we can do, which is cool. I'm glad that we have it that way because I surely don't want to go out and have to fight to the death every day to do jujitsu.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to kill everybody I roll with just to show that I'm good.
I mean, some people still live that life and
I'm
still
not that-
try to do that.
And that's cool. At a certain point, hopefully they'll get the understanding of that's not the way, that's not really what it's all about. But I guess it's kind of like what Brandon was talking about with the killing season. We all kind of go through that killing season sometimes, and it's cold. It's unforgiving to everybody though. Like the person in the kill, at least from in my experience in the killing season, it's probably not in a really like happy place while they're doing that. That's not contentment.
Can you be in killing season and in a happy place?
That's what I'm trying to say though. Like, how can those things exist together? I'm not sure. I personally have a hard time living in one space and trying to operate in the other at the same time. Like in a true sense,
right?
Because I want to be one or the other. I have a hard, if we're just being chill, I'd rather be chill, and I could turn it up and roll hard or whatever.
No. I'm talking killing season, like the like what you're referring to, like
yeah.
Can those coexist?
It couldn't for me.
Yeah.
It couldn't for me.
Maybe it's by person.
Well, I just think that at a certain point you run out, and so you may. And this is like at a certain point, I think for people sometimes you know stuff, but you don't want to admit it to yourself yet. So maybe you hang on to that killing season a little bit too long because you think that that's what it is that you need, but it's really not that. What you needed to was to move past that season a little bit sooner to get to that next level. And then you'll hit another stage where you probably do got to go through
What
it
is
again.
that next level though? Like, because you hear people say that, and you hear people say like the killing season, and then like the knot or the time of the Dow, as Brandon was putting it. Is it like, how do you like what is the next step? Is it because I mean we trained to get good at
So,
this thing to go do it competitively. Some of us like, what do
well,
you do outside of that? I
I,
mean, are we talking after baseball here? I mean, is that what it is, or
it's like it's hard. There's no way to be halfway about it. And the people who aren't fully committed to the killing aren't gonna make it to the top.
that? Yeah,
You're not. And so if you jump on and off of the killing train until you get to the top, you're not in that regard. You're not going to be one of the top of the food chain predators in that world, in the ADCCs and stuff like that world. You know what I mean? But I feel like I'm a pretty apex predator in the world. Minus guns and like going to actual war, like, which I would defer to the actual war fighters on. But as far as like hand to hand with no weapons, I feel like I'm pretty high up on the chart there. Uh, one on one, it would take uh, uh, you know a lot of people wouldn't make it if that was the case. But there are a lot of people that would. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. Is like I understand that if me and Gordon Ryan had a fight to the death, I'm probably gonna bring a weapon of some sort because I
just
got.
in
I
case.
mean, no, not in case for
Or
sure.
you're gonna use it?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
quickly,
Okay.
like right away, probably.
Yeah.
Like I don't even
Okay.
want to try.
I got you.
If it's, you know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
the thing. If that's the stakes, then I don't even want to risk it. Stakes are too high. But if we just play in jujitsu and stuff like that, I'll get out there and sit down in front of him too. I don't care. It
Right.
doesn't mean anything to me. Not in the grand scheme of things. So that's where we all got to be, and everybody's playing their character. Everybody's playing their part in this sphere that we're in now. Like this, what I'm doing right here, we all play our character, and I play some too, but it's just being fun. And I think now that I've realized that what those characters are, that's why it's easy to kind of slide in and out of those different things to where I can just come in and start talking trash and like acting hard and whatever with people, and then immediately can turn it off and be like this because this is my normal disposition basically. But I do like to talk trash, so I play nice in public a lot of times with people because I don't want to ruffle feathers and such like that and be known as a bad guy or whatever kind of stuff like that. Because I'm not a bad guy. I'm a nice guy, but I will cuss you out if I feel the need to, and I will check you about things that I think are important to me as character traits or whatever. If somebody steps out of line with the moral code to me, those are the things for sure that you'll see the bad guy in me come out. Is where that's why I don't like to live there in that killing season because then everybody just starts getting killed for no reason.
They just
Sometimes
get the
people,
brunt.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's no reason sometimes that people catch it that way. But in this world, I can kind of lay the hammer down when I need to, and feel like I can be more like precise with those darts, I guess, instead of just dropping that big hammer every time something's going on and just break the whole table and have to rebuild everything. You know what I mean? Um, that's the way. And that's the jujitsu stuff that I'm trying to get. That's the understanding of the different ways and knowing that other people are right and you're not, and that you're right and they're not sometimes. That what you create in your mind is the world that you live in. The state of being that you create for yourself in your own head, that is your existence. No matter what I or you think of me, like whatever, you know what I mean, no matter what you think of me,
The
Isaac.
internal
Yeah,
dialogue.
you could think I really, I think what you think of, I know what you think about me, how much you respect me and like me and value my jujitsu, or otherwise we wouldn't be doing all the things together that we do.
Right.
But in reality, I don't know what you think of me in that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, but then also I don't really necessarily care that much anymore. Like I've just been myself to you, and you stayed around and you've hung around, and so it's like he either really likes me or there's something, you know what I mean? There's something else.
Or he
It
equally
just
hates himself.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like whatever, we'll
Yeah.
figure it out from there. It's been cool and easy. And so I don't want to live in those fake like spaces with people all the time or whatever, where people are trying to put on those like rough characters, and they don't it's you don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Like in MMA it was all posturing and like
Everybody trying to be
trying to
hard.
trying to
And,
mad
yeah.
dog you when you walk in the room and all that kind of stuff, man. It's weird. It's so weird,
Yeah.
that
Grown men.
yeah, and
Yeah.
like we're not even fighting each other, dude.
We're just
Like
in the gym together.
yeah, it's just
We're
training and stuff.
teammates.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
Yeah.
Is I want to have a team. Like I want to be a part of a team.
Yeah.
I don't want and
What
I,
do you think that like what do you think entails that? Is it built from the like I guess like what does it take to get that to be a like consistent thing? Like how do you build a team that is something that you want to be a part of? Like what does that team look
me,
like? Yeah.
man, it's got to be built off a lot of love and trust and understanding of each other first, and then it's got to be about hard work and dedication to the craft and stuff like that. That's the biggest stuff. After that, competition. The competition team will be the last part of that, is the team, because without all those other parts, the competition won't equal that. The level won't be as high overall, because I don't want a bunch of asshole gold medalists or a bunch of douchebaggy guys running around with my shit on. That'll make me upset. I want people to represent as martial artists. We could talk like talk a little trash, have a little bit of fun, take no shit either. Like don't let somebody punk you and put you in a corner or anything like that. But also, you don't have to be the one that's just yelling stuff from the side of the mat just to be bantering with people. Also, kind of stuff.
And
So
in a negative way.
that's
Like
what I
like you're
mean.
saying, like you can do the like plug and play and like
Just yeah, chatting them up a little
yeah.
bit, or sticking little barbs at each other a little bit while you're competing is one thing, but just getting into like bickering back and forth, or just hating on another team just because they're not our team, or another person because they're not on our team, or they're from a different association of some, just all those idiotic things like that is what I don't want. That tribalistic kind of team.
Right.
I want a community kind of team, to where we welcome in new members that are willing, I guess maybe like a tribe, I guess more than a team. But that's why I say it starts where it starts. It can't just start from me being up here at the top of that pyramid just dropping bombs on people, you know beating them up and showing them that I'm the man, which is what a lot of places do. A lot of people feel like they have to rough people up, or they have to be able to tap them out all the time, or they can't lose a single round, or they can't lose a single exchange, or they suck, or if somebody tries to correct you, that you suck. If you didn't know something, that doesn't mean you suck. That just means you didn't know something. It's okay. That's fine. And so it's just that it's a series of ego deaths over and over and over and over again, until you just get strong enough that you can read somebody or see a video on the internet with some bad technique and just scroll past it. You don't have to tell them that they had their hand switched the wrong way on the rear naked choke or anything like that. That's the height of like.
Do you think maybe the ultimate killing season is the like killing of the like the
That's
ego?
the final killing season. That's the final one, I think, and I think that that's the hardest one. And I know that that one's not over for me. That's definitely gonna be. It's gonna rear its head,
So
dude.
how do you go back? How do you so the way we do it, like the way that like you and I do it, because we're wired a lot of the same ways. Like you go to competition, or
Yeah.
you go to a hard room and you go get just annihilated. Oh, there's the ego check I needed.
Hmm.
I just got just tore apart by a 19-year-old.
Hmm.
What do you how do you do that when you're not in killing season, quote unquote?
I come to stuff like this. I go
Ah,
to those camps like Jacksonville. I go to places where I'm not the smartest person in the room,
you get to see the
and I sit
bombs get dropped on other people.
I see the things I don't know right in front of me. I know what I don't know when somebody shows me because I don't block out my mind from it anymore.
The Gabe Tuttle seminar is what is on the Wandering Grappler today. The episode I
Okay,
dropped
I haven't
today.
had a chance to tune
Yeah.
in on
So
that
when
one
you go
yet.
to watch that, you actually make that comment in the middle of his seminar.
What I say?
You said something about they were doing. He gave them a detail about a triangle, and
Oh,
you were like, "Oh, triangles off to the side." It's like I've never heard it before.
yeah. Ooh.
It's like, and everybody's sitting there going, "Ooh ha."
Oh my god, it's so funny, man. Like, dude, stuff like that. They're like, I love Gabe, and that's so funny. Is that with him, some of the times now, and I'm sure he feels the same way too. Though, is what's funny. We talked about it. Is I watch him teach some stuff, and he can watch me teach some stuff, and I could be like, "Oh, I showed you that," and then he's like, "I showed you that though,"
Mm.
but they're in the same flow or the same movement. Like I'm talking about something with his footwork, and he's talking about something with my arm weave on the Kimura or whatever
But he's still
place.
doing the footwork.
But he's
Yeah,
doing my
yeah, yeah.
footwork, and I'm doing his arm weaves and stuff like that, or I'm doing his roll, and he's doing,
That's funny.
just all those different things. Because like we would talk track, like that's the thing is that we would give each other shit about the techniques that we were doing and teaching. We were friendly, competing with each other about ideas.
Mm.
Physically, when we roll hard, he can't do everything to me that other people or that he could do to other people that are smaller. But
Right.
but if he could do what he does at his weight at 220 pounds, he'd fucking murder me every time we rolled. I would not stand a single chance against him. But also, he couldn't do all the things that he does if he was built at 220 pounds. He wouldn't have his game and his frames and his understanding of where to move in space when a 230 or 40-pound brown and black belt guys trying to tear your head off and everything like that. He understands that because he's done it,
He's been in
and he's
those
been in there.
rooms and had
He's
the
asked
yeah.
for it. You know what I mean? So yeah, like it's fun to do that thing, and to do that with people. But you got to be able to be wrong to do that. You got to be able to just listen to somebody else's point of view and not have to give yours always. Because if you're only listening to me, or if I'm only listening to you to tell you what I think, then that's not the point at all. We just missed the whole point of everything at this time,
Mm.
you know. So you listen with the point is to understand. If you're listening to someone, it's to understand, not to respond. You need to understand first, and then you could respond if you want to. You shouldn't start formulating your response in the middle of someone else's, like, because then you may have missed the most important part of what they were saying, and you're all like defenses up, and they could have been trying to start with something that was like a little shaky, but been like, oh, but you turned it around or anything crazy. You never know. But if you immediately block them out and start getting into that space of your own head about whatever the situation is, then you can't accept any corrections then, because then it's just all an indictment on you and your personal, your personal situation and your personal condition as a human. And that's not what it is. Like, corrections on your jiu-jitsu is not a correction on your condition as a human. It's not who you are. It's just a technique. You know what I mean? So that's one of the biggest things that we all struggle with, I think, a lot of times, is like, and even me giving corrections to people, I feel bad sometimes when I'm like, all right, I'm gonna
That
nitpick
was
you.
too heavy.
It's,
Yeah.
or I'm like, I'm gonna nitpick you right here, okay? I know this is gonna be like, you're gonna think this is like a nothing detail, okay? But just indulge me, please. Just please, just like, I have to preface stuff like that so many
Right.
times. I feel like because people are just, they like what they like and they do what they do, and it does until somebody beats
It
them.
checks them, and they're
They
like, "Why didn't the thing work?"
oh, smack like that. That's
Yeah.
why, because you just
Yeah.
hit shit,
That's it.
just knock it around, and it don't work anymore. Like, that's the thing. Because, and see, this is another like idea that's kind of crazy too. Is like training in our room. We are we're a new school. we have an interesting mix of level of people, but in the grand scheme of things, we don't have a room full of like deep experience. So we
Mm.
only each person only kind of has their own few plays, except for like me and you and Taylor and there's only
They
like
can't go deep in the game and
not
just start playing.
everybody,
Yeah.
not everybody. So that's what I mean, and it's like some of us are missing some details on things because the rest of us aren't at the level to create that problem for some of us yet. You know what I mean? And so that's
Hmm.
one of the problems that maybe a coach or someone that's only staying in their classroom and training and rolling and never going out and like this, like I say, going out and trying
Right.
and exploring these
Going to
new
the mountaintop.
yeah, and trying these new ideas out and seeing what they feel like and look like and letting your students try this new weird stuff out that you saw that is not part of your game or what I mean, just like you got to explore those avenues with them. But if you stay in your little box right there, if the box even exists, right, if you stay in this box that you're forcing yourself into right there, then you're never going to grow, you're never going to know, you're just going to be beating up on these same people, or eventually they're going to be outside the box and they're going to pass you because you've never added to your resources bank, but everybody around you has been leveling up. That's the most terrifying prospect in the world to me, is that I get left behind,
Because you're
not because
not going back to the
not
well.
because of my physicality though,
Mm.
because of my mind. That's the most terrifying prospect to me.
The guy that
I'm
you go back 5 years later and he's still doing the same move
same
to you.
things.
He's still going through the same patterns, and you're like, bro, I figured this move out 5 years ago.
It's not the
Learn
move
something
anymore.
else,
It's not the move
but
anymore.
it'll catch you one time. And
It
he's like, it still works.
I do this to everybody, and it's like, but everybody else is gonna stop it
Yeah,
because you're not doing it like I do it too. That's what I'm saying. You saw me do it with my lockdown stuff at the PGF,
my
things like
thing.
that.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
crushing at
yeah,
the school with it,
yeah.
even like the higher belted people that were coming in because you guys just don't have a lot of experience with that stuff yet.
Oh, that. Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
it was easier to, and now you have already gotten better with a lot of it through watching other people defend it some.
Hmm.
Now it doesn't work on you hardly as well at all. So that's like, but that's the way. That's the path of progress.
Right.
That's what we're all gotta do. And I know and have known for a while that my body was gonna fail me at a certain point. There's always gonna be a new 20-year-old somewhere that's gonna be coming in that can beat you up physically,
And wants to.
but you got to beat them mentally. You got to give them what they really want. And so if they really want somebody just to beat them up, you got to figure out how to explain to them that that's not the way, or send them to somewhere that will. And then hopefully they'll understand that message that you gave them when it's time for that message to come to
Once
them.
again, if they're primed.
Whenever
Type. Yeah,
it's,
yeah,
they got to be ready for the message.
yeah.
I can't just force you to understand the message. If you're not ready to hear the message, then it's not going to be for you, you know. And that's why I say sometimes in class, like I'll be directing or whatever, and I'll come back and talk about something that sounds like a, or it is like a pretty bad like scolding in a way or something like that. And instead of trying to make it where you can think it away or whatever, it's like, and if you feel, if this makes you feel some kind of way, or if you feel convicted by what I just said, then yes, I was probably talking to you too.
Right.
Because if you
Yeah.
if you're doing this thing, if you're not giving 100%, if you're slacking, if you're skipping steps, if you're coming in late on purpose because you don't want to do something, or if you're not giving 100% to your partner, that I may not always know that. And then what I do for you though is give you that benefit of the doubt as much as I can. I always trust you that you're doing your best.
You're trying the most.
And then
Yeah.
if you don't, then that's on you, right? And if I see that you're falling off, then I can tell you that I think you're falling off. So if you tell me that's your best effort, I trust that's your best effort. If you tell me that's your best thought process, I think that's your best thought process for now. I can't really change that. I can only tell you what I know. And until you're ready to understand what I know, you're not ready for my message yet. At least this one. You know, you can
Points in the journey
yeah,
type deal.
dude. It's true. It's so true. And you just hear like it's the things you hear over and over and over again, and that's why you can't act like because people are working like Geo and Nate Orchard both when they came in for their seminars in Jacksonville were like, this is some stuff that during the lockdown last year when I couldn't train, I just was obsessing over this new stuff that I didn't do. and I started doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now I'm doing all that, and it's like,
There was a bunch
whoa.
of fun stuff in that.
It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
You can't do that, and then but you can,
Watch
but you can though.
me. Yeah.
So, there's people out there that are looking at these problems, and they're not looking at it from the same eyes that we've always looked at these problems from. They're looking at it from new perspectives with new ways of thinking that aren't the normal way. That aren't, just straightforward. You gotta approach these people, and if you do the same old thing, they're gonna get you, and it's gonna be stunning and devastating, and you're gonna feel embarrassed. And that's when people run and retreat and hide into the safety of their little gyms, and don't come out and compete, and don't come out and train, and don't come out and go to other places because they can't handle their ideas being challenged, much less, physically being challenged. So that's what you're doing with jujitsu as much as anything else. You're challenging yourself in every possible way throughout time. If you keep coming, you're going to get presented with many opportunities to quit, and problems that seem like you may not ever be able to get past that problem. You may not ever be able to get over it. But in time, and with diligence and thought and effort, you will. You will get past it, and you will figure out a way. And if you have to figure out a way for yourself, you can, especially if someone's armed you with the ability to think for yourself, not to just listen, and don't just hear me and say what I say. Don't just hear me and do what I say.
Don't regurgitate.
Don't go understand it. Like, I love the way that Nate Orchard said that at his seminar about the gold. He's like, if you're a jeweler or whatever, if you buy gold, someone brings you in some gold, you don't just accept it and give them what they told you it was, the carats and the weight or whatever. No, man, you go over there and you weigh it and you scratch it and you test it and you do every possible thing you can to check the purity of it, right? And that, to me, dude, I almost teared up when I heard that, because to me, that's my jujitsu.
Mm.
That's my gold. I'm handing you this gold bar, and so it's very precious. It's extremely precious to me. But I want you to trust it though, and I need you to know that it's real. So you have to examine it for yourself to know that it's real though.
So, what are some of your my wife does metals, so like the acid test and the stuff that they're doing when they're scratching it. What is that for you? Like, what? How do you test when somebody gives you their piece of gold? Because some people are protective of their gold, and when they give it to you, they're kind of like, "Oh, don't mess with it. Don't scratch it. This is what it is. I promise." And you're like, "So, how
So,
do you test that?"
well, then I just have to wait until they're not there. I won't buy it yet. You know what I mean? They could give it to me, but I'm not buying it until I
Mm,
test it. You can hand it to me and I will take it in possession of it, but I'm not going to keep it, and I'm definitely not going to buy it until I've tested it myself, or I've watched people test it and we've seen it be tested in methods that I trust. You
mm,
know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. I may not be the jeweler that does the test. Maybe I am the guy that works at the front, and I'm just the manager. Maybe I'm the owner of the jewelry shop, and I have a jeweler over here that can test it for me now. You know, there's
I
ways.
got you.
There's ways and means to get understanding, because I may, like, again, I physically may not be able to do it, so it may not make any sense to me because I can't physically get to that spot.
I
But
got you.
the guy that can does. The Hindulatine and stuff like
He can
that.
do the
He
thing.
can do the
Yeah.
thing, and then I've seen heavyweights doing it.
Yeah.
So I used to say, "Oh yeah, no heavyweights will ever do that." And so I shut up saying that because I've seen it now.
Big
It
boys can be flexible
it
too.
it works. Is it the highest level play? Not for me.
Is
That's
it your go to?
not
No,
for
yeah.
me. Not for me. But for some people, it could be. For some people, it is. And that's the thing, is like, where does that fall on your scale of control versus percentages of things? And are you just doing it for the craft? Are you just doing it for art? Well, then
Right.
that's different. And if you're doing it to go out there and just win, then maybe you're going to be one of those lame people that are just boring and stall and just try to get the first point or don't commit to trying to do the craft of
But
the.
you won.
But did you though?
No, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Like,
But
yeah,
you
but
won.
you got the medal. You got
You ripped
stuff
your
like
you
that.
ripped your gi open. You
And that's what and that's what if
right.
that's what you need from it, then I guess that's good enough, right? If that's all you need from it,
But
then
eventually that'll run out. I guess is the point that you're making is
but
that
you
you
can't.
know
You
it
won't
will.
always be that
Yeah.
guy. You will not always be that guy or girl. You will not always be that person.
Mm.
Every great champion,
Eventually.
every one of them gets old, or they die before they get old. They don't make it.
Oh,
Like you don't live long. If you live long enough, you're gonna break down,
Mayweather's out there beating up YouTube stars for
bro. Please,
for millions of dollars.
please.
Doesn't look too bad.
I mean, I don't want to box anybody, but
I,
I box both of those guys,
cool.
but I don't want to.
I'll
But
set it up.
I
We'll
would.
live stream it.
I'll grapples them. Let's do some
Oh,
grapples.
let's run it.
I don't know. They're pretty good wrestlers too. I'm too old, man. I don't know, but for 100,000
I'll
YouTube,
grapple one of them.
how many? I don't care about the money. How many views can we get? That's all I need to know.
That's what we need to look for. That's what we need is just the YouTube
I just want to get
views.
paid in views. That's all.
Don't we all?
No, dude, but yeah, so whatever, like that's the thing. Whatever somebody needs from jujitsu, I hope I can help them find it, and I hope I can help them get it and have it for themselves. Whether that's technique based, whether that's confidence in yourself, whether that's community, which is I think the most important part to me.
The people.
I always wanted to be a part of the team, and that was I think what drove me the most. And as a kid, I was not ever able to really be a part of the team in that way because we lived far away from the city and I didn't have easy travel arrangements and stuff like that. So I never really got to play team sports. I almost joined the military because I wanted to be a part of a team, but I was too fat and they said I'd lose some weight and come back. So thankfully, by the time I was ready to lose weight, I didn't change my mind about the military and decided to just start fighting to join a team. And then once I started finding this, I've been on a few different teams, right, with varying degrees of success. And then, but with each team, there's always been a special bond between the people that are on the team,
Yeah.
like the guys and the girls or whoever, the crew. There's a special feeling, man. And it's hard to replace it, and it can be there after people leave too. That's the thing. Is like because I've had to move a few times, so I've seen it. I've seen my void be filled more than one time now.
So you know it's elsewhere. It's
So
not
it's
just
not just there,
that one guy.
and it's not just me, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I say to y'all all the time. Everybody's like, "Oh man, the vibe in here is you." It's like it's not me though. It can't just be me.
I think it can be. It's intentional. I think
Well,
that the vibe in your room is intentionally different than the vibe in other rooms.
maybe so.
But
Maybe
it
so.
can exist everywhere, is what you're saying.
Yeah. I don't think. I think that's the thing. Is like I think what I saw again, and I'm just talking about Jacksonville a lot. Maybe we haven't been able to talk about it so much,
Right.
just from a personal perspective. But honestly, like I've had more time to kind of to think about that stuff too in the last week or so. Just kind of as a whole, I've been really thinking about that because I'm teaching y'all. But then each one of those guys were teaching too, and some of them showed different things than what I would show, and they said things that were different. But then they were each saying some of the same stuff that I was saying. Like they all had a lot of the same like philosophy plays that I had. They all had a lot of the same like stories, even if it wasn't the same story. It was those same, ideas and the same higher morals of what they were searching after. And then everybody was willing to say that there could be another thing besides this, that there could be more that, and I'm
Elsewhere.
yeah, and I'm only talking about this one thing and don't think this is just like every great teacher that I've been around, it feels like they're that way. And the vibe in the room, dude, like Geo, almost word for word. Like maybe I stole that from him and Boogie about they told me that this jujitsu was mine and they gave it to me, and now I get to have it and take it. Because I say that all the time, but I thought I made it up. But I heard them both say it, like at that thing. So like I must have just got it from them, but I believed it. And so like I took it to heart. So it's mine now. It really is mine. That phrase is mine now.
I use it. Yeah.
It
yeah.
is mine. but they gave it to me though, and so that's what I want to give to everybody. That's the goal. We talk about that, the light, the aha moment. That's my payment. Obviously, I need to make money to be able to survive and stuff like that. But to me, the real joy, the gold I get back is that the understanding to
Seeing
see
somebody
them,
go,
that they
oh,
blossomed in
yeah.
some way, or they got the thing that they wanted, or that they got something out of it. They got the community, they got the technique, they got the win, they got the partner that they were looking for outside of the gym or whatever. Those are the things that are important in life. Jiu-jitsu is important to me. And if people are, if you feel like that too, then man, you could definitely be like a
It's the
part of.
commonality that you can
Yeah,
find. Yeah.
right. There's so many different kinds of people that are training, and we can all get on the mat and vibe together on the mats and stuff. But then when we leave, oh, there's that famous Decatur train that
I
y'all
was
hear about
wondering.
if you've ever paid attention to much stuff. Uh, we almost made it through the whole thing with it, but that's okay. Um, anyway, it looks like we're about an hour and a half, 5 minutes over anyway. But yeah, dude, I love this stuff. I wish I could sit in a room with various people, maybe not the same people every day, right? But different people, different days, and just do this all day and talk about it and not have to worry about the drama of the outside world and paying the bills and making sure you're doing the state's bidding and all the other things that you got to do, following the rules. Don't
Yeah.
break this
Yeah.
rule, don't break that rule, or whatever kind of stuff. That I would love that as a whole, but I just don't. I don't have the ability to do that right now. But that's what I'm working on, is trying to figure out how to put that situation in my life where I can just kind of exist in rooms like this, or rooms where these kind of ideas are being talked about as a whole, instead of just the nonsense that's on the tabloids or whatever. you know oh wow, Egghead,
Oh,
that's pretty.
Egghead came in late with a good one.
See, that's a movie though, man. That's a movie, dude. I don't believe you feel that way, Egghead. After meeting you, I just don't think that's your personality. I think you're just quoting a movie right now, and so
Putting on
uh,
a persona.
I'm here for you, bro. I see you. But no, if you got to crush some enemies, if you got to crush people, and you got to eat and you got to kill or whatever, that's a different life than the one I'm living right now. Thankfully, I'm on the other side of a lot of that stuff right now, and I don't have to fight so hard for everything. I'm really happy, and I feel very blessed to be in the situation that I'm in. So I'm really trying to stay in that positive vibe mindset the whole time. Oh no, you're good, bro. I love you. Um, but just trying to stay in that positive vibe kind of mindset as much as possible. That way, I'm giving that away, so that's what I can get back without having to deal with all the other negative side of combat, of MMA, where people are talking trash about whatever, and you gotta hate on people, and you gotta posture, and it's silliness. It's not. It's what people are calling entertainment, but that
It's
shit,
exhausting
it's not
sometimes. Yeah.
entertaining to me anymore. In a way, like the hype gets real. If you think some people, like, okay, if two people really don't like each other and they really want to fight, bet I'm down. I'll referee. Like, I want to see it. I love to watch people
Some
resolve
beefs.
conflict.
Like, yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
resolve some conflict. Let's do it the old fashioned way. Let's go. I love that stuff. But I hate when it's manufactured. I hate when it's fake and you see that it's fake. It's obviously fake. And then these guys get in there and they don't even fight each other because they're scared to lose now. But you don't talk all this trash, but you're going to be safe. And so you
Just
don't
to
do
sell
anything.
tickets, just to,
Yeah,
yeah.
man. No, wolf tickets. I've never been that guy. I've
Yeah.
never been that guy. Like, I'll talk some trash with you or whatever, but once it crosses over to a certain realm of things, it's like, homie, we could just fight. Like, if that's the case, we could just fight. But again, I don't have to do that stuff anymore. I'm not worried about it. I'm building up some killers like my man Seth. I'm gonna be sending out on some special missions in the next few years to go do some testing and tuning. Uh, gonna be doing it. Oh yeah, man. You like the wolf tickets? You've been around long enough. You know what's up. Yeah, I like being able to see what people are saying. That's kind
That's
of
why I
cool.
started doing it in our studio,
Yeah,
having the comments, like being able to talk back and forth to the people.
yeah. That gives it another little interesting dynamic there.
Now the people can talk directly to you.
Hey, people. Y'all like me here at the beach in
Yeah.
Decatur?
Speaking of the beach, you do have something coming up. It's kind of why I went with that green screen.
Shing. Um, Dude, we got a lot of stuff coming up.
Quick plug there.
July 4th week, I'm out of town. We're going to the Coconut Cabinas and teaching for a week down there and staying in Samara. I'm gonna be looking around down there. That may be another spot that we can go and uh, take the Dream No Gi camps. But October 10th through 16th, we're gonna be in Manuel Antonio, and that camp is gonna be off the hook. We are taking myself, Lindsey McCatherine, and Kyle Chambers as instructors. There's gonna be other people there that are gonna be training and attending that I wish I had as instructors there also almost, you know what I mean? So there's gonna be some really, really high level people there training. We're gonna spend, a couple hours each morning training, doing some seminars. There's gonna be some optional open mats around sunset because we have this beautiful location at Hotel Costa Verde. Uh, Man, and it's just gonna be so awesome. And I can't wait to get it going. We're again a lot of behind the scenes legwork that's having to be done now that we're getting closer to this thing, making sure everything's set up. And I want to give a shout out, obviously, quickly to the people who are helping us make this possible. For sure, the Musgrove Trial Firm. Anyone for sure in the state of Georgia, if you have any accidents or anything, hit them up. Get the info. Tell them that you got the name from us. They are a huge supporter for me, and I want to do everything I can to try to send some traffic over there to them. So thank you to them, and then definitely to Matt Viper. They're coming on board to help us out with the Mid South Classic. They're going to get us our rash guards and stuff for that, some shirts. Definitely thank you to Sheath Underwear, also supporting for the Mid South. They helped us last time. They're helping us again. So man, I love seeing like we're hopefully starting to build that relationship with them where we can all kind of like level up together on this thing. Uh, After that, also thank you to Supernatural Survivor Gear. Kent Peters, my guy, he's helping us out a lot behind the scenes with like ideas and different things that's working for the camp. And uh, honestly, he's somebody I can just talk to sometimes for different tips and tricks on other things. Dogfight Dojo and Mary, thank y'all for supporting, shouting out all the people, helping us grow like my profile, giving me some of that social cred that you got there. I appreciate the rub. Isaac, thank you, man. Keeping me on task.
I try.
Dude, I wouldn't like obviously
try.
look, I this wouldn't happen though. Like if I had to come in here and do all of this, I would do none of this. I just have to come in here and like laugh and giggle a little bit and then put on some headsets and talk. So thank you, man, for keeping me on track and motivating me to stay in this lane because I can really feel a difference in what we're doing and how it's all starting to make a difference, man. So thank you for all your help in here though.
Cool.
Is that it?
I guess we're going.
I love you.
Yeah, you could sing us out. You could freestyle us out right here a cappella.
Oh no, I can't do
No.
it a cappella. I'm sorry.
All right, say bye to the people.
Bye to the people.